Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you guys doing? Just gonna wait a few minutes for everyone to get on. So last week, so my name is Amy Bacon. I sell a real estate in Alaska and Texas. In Alaska, well, I'm newer in Texas the last couple of years, in Alaska for 17 years. So I have people who help me when I'm not in each one of those states. I also can connect you to realtors all over the world. So if you need a good realtor, you can just let me know. I can connect you. So do you guys remember? So last week we were talking about getting pre-approved and the do's and the don'ts when you're buying a home, and all the reasons why you want a realtor because it's more than, oh, somebody's just opening the door for me. If that's the case, then you wouldn't need a realtor at all. Um, so I was waiting a little bit because I was waiting for my friend Sean to get on, and he is a lender in Alaska. And we were going to talk this morning. And so I'm just going to see if he's here yet. And he's not yet. So I'm going to kind of finish what I started last week and also let you know that every week on Thursdays, it's going to be all things real estate. So we're going to be teaching you guys about investing, ways to get money to invest. I was supposed to have a Tambourine McCutchinson. She was supposed to be on today. And she's kind of like a hard lender, like someone you can get in money from, and you can, and money to do repairs, buy a house, and then gives you so long, I think like a year to uh buy the home, do the repairs, and get the money to pay her back or refinance it. Okay. So there's so many different ways to get money nowadays. And so I'm going to be teaching you some of those things, but she got sick and she was not able to be on today. So hopefully she'll be on next week. If not, she's still sick, we'll find somebody else. But we're going to be teaching you guys that. So you definitely want to get on Thursdays, all things real estate, and Tuesday through Thursday, and sometimes on Friday, we'll always have a powerhouse speaker, from bodybuilders to, people with great testimonies, ministers who have miracle signs and wonders that follow on, because we want to grow spiritually, physically, and financially. We'll always have a powerhouse speaker, someone who has, become a millionaire, has multiple businesses in multiple states, and to teach you some of the habits that they do so you're able to learn and grow. So this is what you get for free. You can also go to amybacon.com, can hire me as your coach. I do have a few available options there. And I also have a transformation package that you can grow spiritually, physically, financially. It has a package in there from my friend Al Wilson, who has the details of, the workout that you need to do every day, and the food, well, the nutrition and the supplements and everything you need to take to do a bodybuilding competition. So that's an option in there. And so also has my book, a spiritual book, so you can grow, learn how the enemy fights you, learn about the different distractions. And also at 6 a.m. Thank you for all the hearts, so sweet. Every So the thing is that you want to grow spiritually, physically, financially, and I have that option for you as a transformation package on my website. If you're wanting to buy a home, sell a home, or invest in real estate, you can message me or call me. So you guys, so here, let's talk about getting pre-approved and getting ready. You're ready to buy a home, and we talked about, you're going to go to a lender. If you don't know a lender, get with your realtor, because they know lenders who can close you, and they know how to solve problems. You don't want to just go with any lender, because you got to, first off, you need to talk to a realtor. I really believe this first, is because you need to tell them what your intentions are, what you want your payment to be. You don't want to just go out there and just start shopping. Because what if you can get pre-qualified for this amount of a loan, but then that payment is so high you can't even go on vacation. So you got to consider all these things, not, oh, I can get pre-qualified for that, right? So these are things that you want to do. So you want to talk to your realtor. You want to get the right lender because there's different lenders who do different things. Not all lenders solve problems. Not all lenders do different things. And one of the things, because Sean's not on here yet, but let me check something here. Um, Sorry, give me just a minute, guys. The reason I wanted Sean on here because he has this program for veterans, and you can do renovation loans now. I mean, for veterans. So you're a vet. You want to. So you're a veteran, and you want to, buy a home, but there are some things that need to be done, right? So maybe it's a foreclosure, maybe it's like a mess, or maybe you have a family's house, right? That they want to sell, and you're like, man, I want to buy their house, but it's such a mess, and I know I'm not going to get qualified for it. Thank you for all the hearts. I really appreciate all that. So uh, you can get this renovation loan, and the renovation loan is you can get money, you can get bids, okay, on the different repairs, and then they'll give you the money to repair it and then check it off later, or have the appraiser go out there and check it off. So there's different things, and I mean, we can learn a little bit more about that whenever Sean gets on, which I haven't seen him yet. So, but anyways, there's a renovation loan for veterans. So you want to get with the right realtor who's going to get you or give you some options with different lenders depending on your goals. Okay. So then the next thing you're going to do is, and then the next thing is know what your payment's going to be. And do you have money for closing costs and a down payment? And I know everybody's like, well, Dave Ramsey says this. Okay, well, but everybody don't live in Dave Ramsey's world. And there's nothing wrong with the way Dave Ramsey does it. But here's the thing, is just like I was telling them last week, is that you think everybody has this, you think everybody's got an 800 credit score. No, I'm here to tell you, I've been doing this for 17 years. And most people will be like, if we get them a 620 credit score, okay? If they have a 620, not if we get it, but if they have a 620 credit score, okay? So don't beat yourself up. You don't have this super high credit. Another reason you want to give the lender early on, because you want to make sure that your credit's ready to go. And if not, a good lender is going to help you solve problems to get to where you need to be. And it could be different things from paying down your credit card, instead of having it maxed out, pay it down 30%, just different things like that, that you can, do to get your credit score higher. But a good lender is going to help you do that. And like also I was saying that Credit Karma and some of these other ones, they mean well, Experian and stuff, but a lot of them, here's the thing, is the way they run your credit is one way, but the way the lender runs your credit is a different way. So you need to get pre-qualified first. Know what your payment's going to be, know what kind of neighborhood you're going to be in. It's just like dating, just like having your, getting you a new friend or whatever, you got to know, like when you're getting a new friend, you got to know what values you have, what values they have, and you want to hang around them or not. Same thing when you get buying a house, you're going to move into a neighborhood. Is this the neighborhood you want to raise your kids in? Is this does this have your goals? Is this where you want to be at? And that's what you need to think about. Where do you want to live? What town do you want to live in? How much money you want to spend? And also, do you have money saved? If you don't have money saved, there are options there too. And that's why you want to get with a good lender, because some lenders don't want to do those harder loans where there's no money down. Okay. So, but there are options out there, certain towns, certain places where you live, depending on where you live, they have some no money down options. And obviously it has different factors to it. So know where you want to go, know how many bedrooms. Okay, he goes, I'm on here, but never saw a link come through. Okay, you're on Facebook. Are you? No. Okay, hang on just a second, guys. He's. I need to send him a link. Hang on, because I got to get Sean on here, so I don't feel like I'm always talking at things or people. You guys can always say hi. I'm so great for you guys joining. Give me just a few minutes. I'll get Sean back on here. We'll get on track. Give me just a minute here. Let me send him a link. Hang on. I'm gonna put you on pause. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on. Darn it. Oh. Oh my goodness, what is the deal here? Okay, hang on. Okay, hang on. I'm still I'm trying to make this happen, trying to get in touch with Sean. Give me just a minute. Um, oh, it's just being difficult right now. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try this again. Sean, if you can hear me, can you text me on my phone number? Hang on, guys. I'm trying to get disconnected. I'm in a world that we don't have patience, we got to do everything in 60 seconds. I love you guys who just hang in there with me when I'm going through this craziness. I know sometimes I just wonder if it's wanting to see if I have patience or if I'm going to get angry, but don't worry, I can get angry sometimes, but it's going to take more than that. I'm a real person. I'm a real person. I have my things. Okay. Oh, this is so strange. Hang on. Okay, hang on. Oh man. This is being like something else. Not sure why it's not letting me do that. Okay. Hang on. Yeah. Yeah, for some reason it's not letting me. This is quite interesting. Okay. Okay. Hang on, guys. I'm almost there. I don't know. Oh, here, let me try this. Okay. Hang on here. Okay. Okay, I just texted it to you. See if that works. Oh my goodness, this is something else. That's okay. 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 Uh Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 So, Sean, you should have in your text message and your email. So hopefully one of those are going to work. Oh my goodness. Thanks, guys. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness. I'm getting him connected. I mean, I am. Okay. Okay. Hang in there, guys. We're gonna get going here. My Facebook is looking like it's locked or something. Like my live is not live, but hopefully it is. I'll have to ask somebody. If you guys, anybody's on Facebook at all, can you check and see if my live on my Facebook is live where you can actually see it? Because on this end it's showing it's locked, but then it doesn't let me unlock it. And Sean, you don't have to download the app. You can just go through the browser. If you put it through the browser, you should be able to open it up on the Riverside. Okay. We're going to get there. Okay. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there. You're awesome. Thanks for all the hearts. 420 heart. Four. What does it say? 420. Yeah. I love it. I'm just gonna wait a couple more minutes and see about Sean. Look, I can talk about real estate all day long. I've been through the fire so many times. Look, I've sold so many houses. I was let me see, I average somewhere, I don't know, 30 to 50 houses a year, depends on the year or in my motivation that I do by myself. And I can tell you, oh, I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen the good and I've seen the bad. I mean, if you can sell any more than that without any by yourself, oh my God, I just commend you. You must not have no life, but I have to go on vacation, give me some rest. Got to go look at the beach and enjoy my life. You guys, we're definitely in a different kind of market right now. I tell you, I got in real estate in 2008. And oh god, that was a long time ago. But you guys, when I got into real estate, the market was shifting and people were leaving the industry. And you guys remember 2008, 9, 10. And I mean, it was bad, right? And so some people are saying that it's worse now than it was then. And so I don't know, but I can tell you this, I didn't focus on the economy. I just focused on doing the right things every single day, like just getting obsessed and just making my calls and just going to work and just doing it and just keep going. And some years, look, we're going to make more money. Some years we're not going to make as much money, but we just got to keep doing the same thing, keep building relationships, keep working in excellence and those kind of things, like just keep doing the right things. um I'm still waiting on Sean. I don't know what's happening with him. He hasn't said anything. Um, I'll send him another message. Hopefully he gets it. Um, yeah, and you know what I find? I'll tell you that whenever I got into real estate, I took a class called Bold, and it was I don't know, some of you guys from Keller Williams probably know. And Darren Bold taught me a pretty valuable lesson. It's all a numbers game. And, like everything, it doesn't matter whether you're in real estate, whether you're in sales, everything's a numbers game. And everything in life, you want something, you got to go get it. If you want something good, you got to work a little harder. I think it was like Gary Keller's class too. He's talking about hiring people, and you got to interview like maybe like I think it was him that said like 100 people before you find the right one. And I think that's in everything in life. You know, sometimes you'll meet people and it's good. Sometimes you meet people and it's bad. You got to go through it. You can find your tribe of people that just flow with you. Um, I don't know where Sean is at. Let me see if he's here at all. I don't see him yet. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's a little boring right now, but I'm just going to keep going. When he pops in, we'll just bring him in because he can talk more about the renovation loan for veterans, because I think that that's going to be a good thing, because we do see a lot of properties out there that need some work done. And I do that kind of thing too. Like if you have a house that needs some work and those kind of things, and I have finance options for as far as repairs and stuff like that, and we can renovate, we can paint, carpet, whatever you need to do, and then we can get on the market and sell it. And so I just have one I just did, and every single time it sells. First 3 days, boom, it's gone. I mean, you get a house, you do a few things to it, and you'd be surprised how fast it sells. But I do get it. There are certain markets that things are moving or going a little bit slower. I mean, Texas is a little bit slower trying to get things out the door. Alaska is just the opposite. It's funny because Alaska is like, we don't got enough properties. We need more properties. So if you have a house in Alaska, you need to sell, let me know, because definitely we need properties right now. And yeah, in Texas, we definitely need more buyers right now for sure. Seems like there is a lot of listings going on in Texas, but here's the thing is, you don't want to get focused on the economy and the ups and downs, because as we were talking about the other day with Lee Brown, here's the thing is that they're always going to have low interest rates. They're going to have high interest rates. You know what? They could have low interest rates, and then you get the house, and then you get your tax bill at the end of the year, and they decided your tax assessment on your house went up, and now your taxes are higher at the end of the year. So if you're waiting for this perfect time, there is not one. There's not one. It's never going to be. As long as I've been alive, there's not one. If you need a car, you go buy a car. If you need a house, you just go buy a house. And if the interest rates drop, then you go refi. I mean, but you think about if you want to refi, because you know what? That first so many years, you're paying a lot of interest. So it may not be something you want to do. So you kind of really need to talk. You need to have a lender who's going to sit down and explain things to you. What's your closing costs, and why? Not only what your closing costs, but why are you paying those closing costs? There's some things that are negotiable. You need to find out what is negotiable on your closing costs, and you need to know what they are. And then if you can't afford to pay your closing costs out of your pocket, but you still need to buy a house or would like to, tell your real estate agent so they can negotiate that for you and see if the seller will pay for it for you. So those are options. There are options with no money down. There's options like I've literally seen people who had hardly no savings account, and they bought a house with no money down and got the seller to pay their closing costs. Can that happen? Absolutely can happen. I've seen it happen a lot of times. So don't get discouraged. You don't have a lot of money. You're a terrible saver. You can still buy a house. Okay. Your credit score is low. I've seen them close loans as low as 585. As far as credit scores go. So those are options too. Who knows if the government shifts and everything, and who knows what's going to happen with the whole interest rates and all the mortgages and loans and stuff. It's going to be a different talk. And definitely when we get all the new rules and stuff out, when they release everything, we'll have a talk about all of that and then let you know what your options are. And if you're a real estate agent, you definitely want to get in there and start knowing the rules. And if you're a real estate agent, you want to go learn the programs out there, because I run into people all the time. They're like, I want to buy a house and such is my friend and blah, 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 but I can't buy a house right now. And it's all because they have a real estate agent that doesn't know the loan program. So yes, just because you got a real estate license doesn't mean that you know everything. Now you passed the test, but now you got to go learn, and you got to get a good mentor, and got to get with a good team. And if you want to join my team, let me know. Texas, Alaska, let me know. If you're in Colorado, if you're in Florida, I got some good teams there that you can connect to. I can connect you to the right people. So you really want to be connected to people who are going to help you. You need to have a broker. You need to have somebody you can go to and say, I'm having this problem. or this situation, what do I need to do and how can I solve it? And I tell you, I would not hang my license. If I was a real estate agent, I would hang my license anywhere. I could not go to somebody and say, I have a problem. We need to figure it out. And then also know, does your brokerage have lawyers? Do they have people support you? Do they know the law? Because what if you need to know something? What if you need to know what the law says? Okay, so those are things that that's the thing is you got to know who your realtor is and do they have somebody who is can go to be mentored or help or whatever. Because I can tell you, as long as I've been in real estate, I've seen all kinds of situations happen, and you got to be able to go to somebody. I tell you, I have a pocket full of people that are very, very wise. And I tell you, if I need them, that's who I go to. And so you need to know on your team. I mean, who are your lawyers you're going to go to? Who are your, who are the different brokers that you know? I mean, maybe it's not just your broker at your brokerage or the lawyers at your brokerage, because our brokerage has lawyers. We have plenty of lawyers and we have plenty of brokers. I think there's just in Texas alone over 13. So we have a lot of people who are supporting us. And so you make sure that you pick a real estate agent that has a backup and support in case you come across a situation. So like is if you might lose your earnest money. And so you may say, well, what is earnest money? So earnest money is basically in the beginning when you're writing the contract, you write a check or you deposit money and you say, hey, I got skin in the game. That's what it is, saying I'm serious. I want to buy this house. I'm going to write a contract. My real estate agent, I'm going to write this contract. I'm ready to go. So you have to have money. You have to have a chai, Sean. I'm just talking away, making up stuff as we go. I'm not making it up, but I'm telling them all kinds of stuff. They're getting super educated. We're just talking about earning money and having skin in the game. So he finally got on. It's probably my fault. And I thought, oh my God, I forgot to send him all the links. So I need to have a check off list.
No problem.
I got a new transaction manager and now I have a new marketer and everybody's starting at the same time. I was in between. I mean, I went from having somebody for 7 years to having nobody for a while. And then, and yeah, and so it's crazy. So, oh my God, taking so much of this burden off of me. But, so I know on TikTok, you guys can't see Sean, but you can hear him. So if I'm talking, you can hear him back. They can hear you if you're not on there because you're not on there. But so on Facebook, on my Facebook, could you get on there? Could you see me on the live?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I actually went in and just text you because I was here and I was just wondering. So I didn't actually go on to Facebook itself.
The reason I said that is because when I go into my Facebook live, it looks like it's locked where people can't see it. And I go, well, that could be a problem.
I can check in.
Could you check? And I was telling some of them on TikTok and to see if they could check, but nobody's got back to me. But I have yet to figure out where's some of the comments I can see right away. Thanks, guys, for joining. I really appreciate you guys hanging in there. I got Sean on here, and I want him to. Are you prepared? Can you talk to us about the after you check to see if my live is on there? You should be able to see it like if it's my story or my name right at the top. It should be lit up and say she's live.
It does not.
So there's definitely a problem. I'm just talking away on this, and so it'll go where I can unlock it afterwards, but I don't know why it's locked during it. It's very interesting. That's okay. So we're just learning things. So can you talk to us, Sean, tell us your name and then tell us your company. And then if you could talk to us about the veteran renovation loan a little bit.
Yeah, no problem. So Sean Miller with Nexa Mortgage. I specialize in investment commercial properties. I still do residential loans, but I get sent a lot of the either commercial or investment creative financing types situations. So a little bit of everything I do. Over the last 5 years, I've really. Uh, when I was a realtor many years ago, when I was in my early 20s and right before the market crashed, and I worked for a company that did fix and flips on multi-million-dollar homes. So I was able to see that side of it really as a realtor. And when I got back into the business again, I enjoyed the finance side and I enjoyed the number side and the creative side. So I think that's what made me want to dive really into the investment and commercial side of it, as well as because that's kind of where the creative side happens, making deals work and that type of thing. So but that's really kind of my business part of it. Is I do a little bit of everything, but um, definitely get a lot of phone calls for the investment commercial side. So
Awesome. Well, we're glad that you're on here. So on the renovation, on the veterans renovation loan, um, can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I wanted them to know that you can do this and you can buy a house, and and you can tell them what they have to do or whatever, what
yeah,
you don't have
so
to
you have two
out with.
types of one is a actual construction loan, so ground up construction loan for a veteran, 0% down. One time close is what they call it. So basically, that means as a veteran, you come in, you get qualified, and you don't put anything down. You can build your own home up to what you're qualified for. And then, same goes for the renovation side of it. You can basically take a home that needs work or needs minimal work or a lot of work, and just like any other renovation loan, it's the same kind of a process where you have a contractor, of course, that does all the work, so they know that everything's up to par. They vet the contractor for you, and which is good as well. Some people ask, one thing they ask me a lot is, can I do the work myself? Generally, most of the work's to be done by a contractor, and that's so to make sure the quality of the work is up to par for what they want to see. But as far as the same considerations go, it's 0% down. So VA program, I do a good amount of VA loans. Actually have one reno that's closing today. But it's VA is the greatest loan program. It gets some stigmatism sometimes for certain quirks that it has, but it's really not. There's nothing really there that should get a veteran away from getting a home, or getting what they want out of a home. And if you're a veteran, also one thing to keep in mind is I have some veterans with 3 homes on their VA. You can have more than one home on your VA. It's not just having one. If you live in Alaska or Hawaii, it's a high cost state, so the eligibility is extended even further, which is why there are some people, in Alaska that have 3 homes on their VA. So
That's good to know because some people don't know that. That's why you need to go get with a good realtor, a good lender who knows those things. So you can not only just buy a home, but you can buy another home or 3 homes.
yeah,
Yeah.
by the time you're done, I mean, a couple years go by and you want to move somewhere else, or you want to upgrade, and then you buy a second one, and a few years go by and you're like, you know what, I would like to downgrade and go travel the rest of the country, whatever it may be. There's reasons why people do so. But the most important thing is that you get the most out of your eligibility that you want to get out of it. You served, you worked for it, you earned it. And to leave eligibility on the table, if you're wanting to use it, there's ways to go about it. So
Yeah, I like that. So on the renovation loan, how many bids do you see that the lender's requiring? Is it like a standard three, like we see a lot of times, or do they need 3 bids from 3 contractors when it comes to the bids, or what are we doing? So we get to buy the house, and but before we buy the house, we need to get bids, and figure out what's wrong with it, or get a help. Do we need to get like a home inspection, right? And then we would need to get bids from it. How many
yes,
bids, or not bids, but bids from the contractors to do these repairs, right?
generally the average is 3, like you said. If someone's going to look at a home and they're pretty excited about it and they're ready to go, the second look should be with a contractor. That way you don't lose the home per se. Like if you like the home, and then because what happens is you do need that contractor is a third part to a transaction that normally doesn't occur with a regular purchase. So when you go to purchase a home regularly, you normally don't have a contractor involved. They have a packet they have to fill out. They have to tell us, give you a bid, itemized bid. The contractor has to be vetted. So in that case, if you're really looking to do like a renovation loan on a home and you see it, and the next day you discuss that this is probably something we're going to do, the next day after that, I would try to already be working to get a contractor out there to avoid any delays. At least one to get the party started, because the biggest thing is that when that contractor goes in there, they could tell you it's $10,000 worth of work, or they could tell you it's $150,000 worth of work, and both could be okay. But we need to make sure that you still qualify for that amount of work, so you're not wasting your time as a veteran, and you're not holding yourself up from being able to put an offer in if there is a possible, could be a multiple offer type situation. So I would say if the renovation loan is a thing, already have a contractor ready in mind, like that if we like this one, we're getting the first one out there at least, and then the other ones can kind of come a day or two after, and work. But at least you got one solid bid in, and then you can kind of dictate the price in those types of things. So
That's a good idea. So get the bids and figure out what the price is going to be. Because the other thing is you got to make sure the appraiser is going to appraise it with
yes.
with the repairs done.
Right.
Yeah.
So the after repair value is what they're looking for as well. They're gonna add a 10%, normally a 5 to 10% contingency on top of it, on top of whatever the bid plus the home price comes in, and you have to qualify for that. And then if you don't use it, they just reduce the purchase price by whatever you did not use on the contingency. So that's
That's
why,
good.
yeah, that's why it's important to make sure that qualifying wise, plus the amount that you're gonna need is the next biggest step. So it's like step one is I love this home. These are the things I would like to take care of. Step two is get that contractor in there. And then step three is qualify with that contractor bid plus the 5 or 10% contingency fee, depending on which outlet we go with. So
Yeah, that's good to know. So is there any extra money that they have to have for that loan, or is it just standard closing costs? And what are you seeing closing costs right now for like first, let's just say first time home buyers right now? Is it still like
well,
3%, seeing it higher?
it's tough to say because it depends on what market you're in. So for the closing cost side of it, it's your normal title, underwriting, processing. So there's no real additional, like major additional fees into it. Sometimes, if it's like a major rehab, they may ask for a HUD counselor to oversee it, and that would go part as of the bid itself, though. So that will go into that money, like you're actually paying for it through the contract that you are setting in place. So if it's major work like that, there may be a HUD counselor, which in return is another advocate for your side. They're making sure that the home is done properly, as well as with the inspections. And I mean, so it's just it's your home that you're putting major, if you're doing that and need one, you're putting major work and money into it. It's probably best that you have another set of eyes on it anyway. So if they do ask for it, that's really the only thing that's additional from a normal VA closing.
Okay.
As far
Yeah.
as the percentage, it's tough to say because you could have a veteran buying a $1 million fourplex. That percentage of the closing cost is going to be different than a veteran buying a $300,000 single family home. So it's tough to say an actual percentage because the fixed costs are always like titles fixed, not fixed, but they're in a general range. Like they're not going to be that much more expensive if you're buying $1 million home versus you're buying a $350,000 home. It's kind of a general price in there. So yeah, I mean you can average in maybe 2 to 3% depending upon what where your loan size actually is. So a higher loan size would probably be on the lower side of that, and then lower loan size would probably be on the higher side of that because, again, those fixed costs. But then the other thing is your escrow account. So It would all depend on what your taxes are. You could be in a place that has very low taxes, down like Kenai, or if you're in Alaska, or somewhere in the middle of Texas that has high taxes, or somewhere in the middle of Alaska that has high taxes. So those
Okay.
things all.
I mean, some parts of Alaska have no taxes at all. But if you
Yes.
don't, you need to know your taxes because your payment's going to go up higher. A lot of times people get on Zillow or I say Zillow, but there's different programs out there and like, oh, I can afford this payment. And they call me like, oh yeah, I've already done it. I know my payment's going to be, but they didn't figure in that extra $1,000 a month in taxes. And so, or whatever it is. So I mean, that's a big deal. I can tell you some towns I know in Texas, some towns are really high. In Alaska, it's high. And then, like I said, there's some areas of Alaska and remote Alaska where there's none. So you need to know that if when you're getting ready to go.
And an
Um,
insurance
oh,
quote is another thing. Some people don't know what their insurance is going to look like. So I always tell them, usually about the first or second home someone's looking at, I'm like, just get an insurance quote. Even if you're not going to put an offer in on that one, get an insurance quote on that one, because at least it's kind of what you're looking for. It's the size of the home, it's the price range. They're going to look at your credit, they're going to look at different things, and at least they can give you an average, because that sometimes can, throw people for a loop as well.
when it reminds me of something because when I was a new agent, I I would literally call insurance companies and I knew they were the lowest, and I was like, okay, tell me what you can do. Let's adjust this, and tell me what I can just adjust a little bit so I can qualify people. I would play around with it. I've had it where I mean, when I was that's why I say is you got to have a good realtor that knows these things. Like you really got to know what insurance companies are out there because some people State Farm is great. I mean, some people's not. I mean, for many years I used Country. Like it just depends on where you're at. But man, to go through and go to different insurance companies and see what they have to offer, and then also not just that some of them will give you a good deal, but then they won't never be there for you or they will never help you. So that's the other thing that you do need to know is some companies are quick to take care of you and other ones are not. So it's not just about that payment. But I do remember doing that when I was a new agent. I was like, okay, well, we need $50 here. How can we figure it out to qualify? Or even $25. And so playing with the insurance. So I like that you said that. That's a big deal. And so thinking about this, I was just thinking about the renovation with the veterans and stuff. I think this is a good program. And then I like that you said you can go build a house. For you guys that know it, you can go build your own house. And I will tell you this: what you can do is that let's just say you go like, man, I found this perfect land. Okay. And you can actually, this is why you need a good realtor. You can buy this land or buy this lot. Let's say you have this lot or this land that's for sale. And then you can go to the builder, tell the builders like, hey, I want to build a house with you, but I want it on this property. And the builder can go out there and check to see, what kind of land it is to make sure it's buildable and all that. You can check it out. The builder can buy that land for you. If you don't have the money, you got to purchase it. And then they can put it in a contract and then you can get a loan with Sean or whoever you choose and purchase your home and build it up. So that's an option. And so a lot of people don't know that. They just think, oh, I'm going to go buy a house and I want to get a new house, but I got to go to this neighborhood where the builder's building. And that is for builders who do, build that in that way. But there are builders, custom builders, who it will do what I just said. And I've seen it happen. So no, you just need to know that. Anything that you have, Sean? Anything you're thinking of that we're not
Oh, you can
telling us?
actually purchase the land as well through a VA construction loan. So you can purchase the
Okay.
land and the builder, or the builder can already own it and build on it as well. So you have both options. So if that builder wants to purchase it themselves, they can, or if you want to do it all through the same transaction, you can actually purchase through the loan with the land and do the construction as well. So you have both options there. Um,
And what if you have your own land? It's paid off.
you can use that as well.
I'm man.
Generally, I mean, with
Uh,
something like that, if you're not moving away from VA, but if you're doing a conventional or like an FHA loan, you can actually use the value of that land as the down payment. Um, so you can use that as part of the equity, so you don't have to come in with the down payment. So
Isn't it
VA,
great?
yeah, VA 0% down, so it really doesn't, I mean, help you too much in that case. But if you were doing FHA or you're doing conventional, that can be a help if you already own the land. There's just there's different programs for also what stage that the land has been built up to. So some programs want it to be like the most you have in is maybe well or septic. And then some may allow up to foundation. And then there are other programs if you've already put in the foundation forward. So there's different programs based off of where the stage of the home is if you're doing the construction portion of it as well. So
So that's pretty exciting news. I mean, guys, so if you didn't know that, those are some options out there if you're a veteran. So is there another program you want to talk about? Any kind of investment? Because you're, any kind of investment one you
yeah,
want
I
to talk
mean,
about?
so I do a lot with self-employed borrowers as well, and there's so many different programs for self-employed borrowers because generally, if you're self-employed and you have a good accountant, you're probably not qualifying what they call, kind of conventionally. So there's something called the non-QM world, which is basically everything that is not a conventional FHA, USDA, or VA loan is considered non-QM. So the programs that we have where, you can qualify with 12 months worth of bank statements, you can qualify with your profit and loss statements. If you just switched from W-2 work to 1099, like I had like a doctor who went from being a part of the practice to bought his practice, makes great money, but nobody would qualify him because he's only worked for himself for a year, and in most cases you need 2 years. We have a program that will allow you to qualify based off of 1 year of 1099. There is, if you're working inside of the investment space, those are more primary. Like if you're buying a primary home, you can use your bank statements, profit and loss, 1099, those types of things. If you are working more in the investment space, most investors I work with are going to be in a DSCR loan, which that loan there's no income documents on that loan. It's purely based off of the rent versus the mortgage. So whatever the ratio of the rent versus the mortgage is. So those are those are more of the programs when you get into the investment side, because if you're an investor and you have, they call them doors, but if you have 10 doors, even if that's two fourplexes and two single family, most of the time, once you get around probably 6, 7 doors, you're probably writing off so much on your Schedule E, which is your like your real estate portfolio type portion of your tax return, that you're not going to qualify conventionally. So in that case, everything then starts to move to the non-QM world, which that's where I have a lot of experience is in that world there, because it it allows banks, when banks, and there's banks, there's hedge funds, there's life insurance companies. These are all the people that purchase these non-QM type. It's not just the bond market, which is kind of what the conventional world is. And those people understand that the investor is really who they would want to write loans for, because they know that's the savvy person that has, their own business. They have multiple properties already. They're taking the tax write-offs that are given to them and not able to qualify conventionally. So you see better pricing in that world than you would see on a conventional investment loan anyway, because the risk to them to have somebody who already owns a few homes and they get it is less than somebody who's buying their first investment property and could qualify conventionally. So there's different paths to take. So if you've been told no by somebody, I would reach out to somebody, like myself, or somebody who actually understands that side. There's a lot of great mortgage people out there, but they all tend to kind of stick in the 1 to 4 residents and the normal residential lot. So you need somebody who kind of would would understand that side of it. Or commercial is the same exact way. If your mortgage person has never dealt in commercial before, then you probably want to find somebody who actually has. But the self-employed world it's big and it's growing. There's a lot of people that are self-employed now, running their own businesses, or have rental, their schedule E's starting to fill up. So you kind of generally hop on over to the non-QM side.
Okay, that's good to know. You guys have any questions? You can always put them in the comments if you have questions for Sean or for myself. Um, yeah, well, we've kind of talked about different options. So you guys know that you can use the rents when you want to buy a multifamily. You can use the rents. I have a triplex in Kotzebue. If you guys want to purchase this, it's 3 different buildings, a triplex. It's on this lot, and you can qualify. You can qualify. Use the past rents, right? You can use the past rents, or the appraiser can tell you, or the appraiser can just average it out, or whatever.
So
What
they
they're
use
yeah,
the fair
gonna let
market
you know.
value if it's not rented. Yeah, if they'll use the fair market value. They'll get what's called a rent. You'll order a rent schedule. So when the appraiser goes out to appraise the home, they appraise the home and then they appraise the rents. Basically, is what it is. But that's called a rent schedule in their world, in the appraiser's world. And then in our world, it's the fair market value. So whatever the fair market rent value winds up being, you can use those to qualify if they're not leased out. If they are leased out, then you have to use whatever the lease is that's currently there, unless it's like within 30 days of ending or something like that.
So that's in Kotzebue, Alaska. It's remote. It's 575,000. So I expect to hear from somebody, because I know somebody knows somebody that we need to know, because I need to get this sold. And then the other one I have that I want to talk about, because I have called Sean about this multiple times, and we've talked about different scenarios, because I have a restaurant that has everything in it to have to get going. So if you're looking for a restaurant that you want to uh, you know, look, you always wanted to live in the last frontier, go have a restaurant, and I have a cabin right next to us. You can purchase a cabin and the restaurant. But let's just say you don't, and you want to move your family to Dillingham, Alaska. It's a remote place too, because you don't want to live in New York anymore, and you're ready to do something different, right, Sean?
Mhm.
So Sean and I talked about this, that you could take the restaurant, do this renovation loan you talked about, because there's more than just veteran loan renovation loans. There's other loans. Do you do other renovation loans besides veterans ones?
Yeah, so when you get into that space, it's more of a bridge loan. So what happens is you take out a bridge loan, and basically that loan will allow you to purchase and rehab any of the work that, any of the place that any work that needs to be done. And then from there, you turn that bridge loan into a permanent loan. Also, the SBA has a great loan. I Right now, they're, thank God, they're opening back up again, because I have three that are waiting to close. They just need to sign off on them. But they will allow us to, in some cases, put anywhere from 0 to 10% down to purchase a commercial building. Inside of that loan itself, you can actually incorporate working capital. You can incorporate equipment. You can incorporate renovations. And then even ground up construction. So right now we're working on a medical facility here in Alaska, ground up construction medical facility. I have another person who does exploration, or basically they do the sampling for the gold fields, for the oil fields. They do all the sampling. They're purchasing a building as well. So there's different, I guess, levels to the SBA, as far as you're just purchasing the building. You're purchasing the building and maybe doing some renovation. You're doing a construction loan, or you're encompassing in everything together, which would be you're purchasing, renovating, getting working capital, and buying equipment. SBA is it's a little bit lengthier of a process, but only way you can buy commercial real estate with 0 to 10% down.
Okay, but when you're doing this, okay, I have a couple of questions because I've heard this in the past from people. So you guys can put your comments in there if you like. But so I want to buy a commercial property. Do I have to have a business degree? Do I have to have some experience? How can I qualify when I've always worked in the corporate world, but I'm ready to own my new company?
So there's two separate things there. If you're buying a building and you're like expanding the building, they generally want to see 3 years of your business tax returns to show that you can truly that the business itself is profitable enough to pay for the building. Now, SBA also has loans that where if you want to start a business, that you can start a business, but that's going to be separate of the real estate portion of it. That's just to help you start a business. And they have many different ways to help you start businesses. They have like a micro loan at $50,000 and they have different ways to do that. So that would be more on the business side of it. If you're basically for
We'll have that conversation another day.
Mhm.
But I do want to have that one again if we can reschedule that for next week or the next, because I do want to talk more about that because I didn't realize we're already our hours up. I was having such a great time. But let me tell you, I know that you guys are wanting to know this because this is really cool stuff. If we can get more information on this and then we'll reschedule and I'll let you guys know. But I'd like to know because I hear people say, because there's a couple of things we're talking about, like with the business, to have a business, they want to know 2 or 3 years to know that this business is going to make the money to be able to pay for this building, right? Okay, so
Yeah.
there's a lot of questions that go with that, and I can get my questions and give them to you, and we can get back on that one. And then the other one is I want to start my new business, but I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have a business degree. Blah 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 blah. What would I need to do, and what's the program for me so I can do this and I can purchase a property and get going? Like, let's we want to
Well,
know that.
the biggest
Yeah.
thing that you're going to want to do there is you're going to want to have a business plan set up. And if in the beginning, if you're thinking like, I'm going to start a business and buy a building at the same time, a brand new business, your personal side of it needs to be really strong. Like you need to have some liquid funds, like you kind of your personal side of it needs to be strong. Otherwise, you start the business, rent a space for 2 or 3 years. You can use SBA loans to buy equipment to the to help you get started. You can use SBA to start the business, then rent for 2 or 3 years, and then once you can show like, look, I'm paying enough in rent where I can go ahead and buy my own building, then you go and do that. And the other thing is that SBA wants you to occupy 51% of the building that you're buying. So you can use rents for the remaining portion of the building to help qualify. So your business, let's say you have a 10,000 square foot building you're buying, as long as your business occupies 5,001 square feet, you can rent out the other 49.99 to somebody else and use the rents you get to qualify. So you can basically buy a bigger building than you were leasing anyway.
That's really good to know. So, man, you told us so much. Oh, there's so much. I'm like, we could probably go on forever. I do want to do another part with Sean and talk more about businesses and commercial and stuff like that for you guys who want to start a business because that's my whole thing. Let's get in and get your dreams and make them come true. So Sean, thank you so much for being on. Sorry for the delay and all the craziness, but let's plan next. I don't know what you have. Well, let's just look at the schedule. I gotta look at the calendar, but we're gonna see if we can put it on next week because it'll be fun and we'll learn about some of this stuff. But you guys always know on Thursdays, I always have all things real estate. And then I have other days where we learn about different stuff. So follow me, go to amybacon.com. Also message me if you're interested, and I'll connect you with Sean if you're interested in asking him more questions. If you're interested in buying real estate, a home, in Alaska and Texas, or if you want to do, if you want to buy commercial property, also let me know. Okay. So thank you, Sean,
No
again. Thank you
problem.
guys so much for being on and being patient. And we're going to get on top of this tech thing, and it's going to be rolling out really well. So you guys have a great day. Thank you, Sean, again. I appreciate
Have a
it.
good one. Bye.
TikTok, my little faithful people. So many people joined there. Great, great, great. There we go.